Have you ever been to an in-store drop? I like to imagine what Supreme would be like. There's a buzz in the air, a high conversion rate of all the customers. Everyone's waiting a line down the street. There's even interaction between customers, and you get all the elements of a super strong community when there's interaction between the people that are actually a part of it. This is the power of an in-store lineup. However, we've lost some of that today in our online world, and I aim to bring some of that back with some community strategies that I'm sure you haven't heard of before. I'm Elijah Delport, and I, once upon a time, was making content for Culture Kings, Champion, and some other brands that you might have heard of. Today, I'm taking that information and helping clothing brands turn their audience into a community. This video is part 4 of 5, where I'm breaking down the exact community framework that's helped brands like Justin's, who got 1.3 million views in less than 30 days from an account with 0 followers and 0 views. Now, I'm sure you find those numbers compelling, but throughout this whole series, I've been sharing why would you even want to build community? Very simply, customers in community become fans. F-A-N. They're faithful. They turn down logically better options. A, they're advocates. They tell the world, they're word of mouth marketing for your brand. And finally, N, they're nurtured. They're repeat buyers that come back again and again and again. In short, if you're able to successfully build a community, what you get is more customers that stay longer and buy more times. That's a business case if there ever was one. Let's get into it. There are 3 main things that we'll be covering today in this lesson. First of all, the current release strategy. What is the fashion market doing in order to release their clothing drops? And I should mention that this is in particular for limited quantity release brands. So we only have a certain number of units. They drop on this date. Once they're gone, they're gone. Then we're going to be talking about what's wrong with it, because it has some problems and we need to fix it. And then finally, the release strategy of the future. What is going to be the release strategy of the future that solves all these problems of the past, and how can you start applying it today? And so I promise, if you get to the end of today's lesson, you'll walk away with a structure to convert not just anyone, but the right people to customers, and loyal customers, ones that come back again and again and again and again and again. And if that's not enough, I have a personalized gift for you. It's totally free so that you can take your brand to the next level this year. But it's only for those that get to the end of the video. So more on that in a few minutes. So to give some context around the conversation we're about to have about the release strategy for the majority of clothing brands today, we should talk about its origins, the joy of the in-person lineup. And for Supreme anyway, I was doing some reading up online, and it's amazing to me. You have to register to wait in line. And I even read a post that if you don't show up on the day, you'll be blacklisted and you cannot register to wait in line again. And so there's exclusivity around the lineup process, that there's a list. And if your name's not on the list, well, you can't enter the store even after lining up. It's suggested that you get there between 2 hours and 2 days early, depending on the hype around the drop. So if it's a really coveted item, then people are going to be camping out probably days in advance, and so should you if you want to get your hands on one of the more desired pieces. And another element of the in-person lineup is that you make friends with those around you. In the last lesson, we spoke about how to create a strong community, and that a strong community is measured by the number of interconnections between the audience itself, not just connections between the brand and the people or the customers. And so the in-person lineup is a fantastic opportunity to talk to the person next to you that share common interests or beliefs or values that people do with the brand, those that resonate with the brand. And so that's a really great part of the in-person lineup, I think. And to really solidify our understanding of the benefit of the in-person lineup, I want to tell you a story. I had George, the co-founder of Push Pull, on my podcast Street Cred, and he runs Push Pull, an Australian brand that has arguably one of the strongest communities. And he was talking about the power of running a pop-up, and how there were 2 girls that once waited in line in the pop-up, and they made quick friends. And well, they left that line staying friends, and they spoke offline. They spoke in the real world. They caught up outside of push-pull and outside of the brand, and they're still friends to this day, however many years later. And push-pull is something that they share together that's integral to their relationship. They wait up on the drops together, and they buy their garments together, and they gift the clothes to each other. And they've formed a really strong relationship around the brand. And it's not because necessarily that Push-Pull has an amazing product, but rather they've created an environment that facilitates community engagement between the customers. And for this reason, they'll stay all the longer, buy all the more times, and probably bring others around them in their circles to buy from the brand as well. You know, it comes down to all the elements of a loyal customer. They are faithful advocates, and they are nurtured. However, here's the problem. Most brands, probably you included, cannot afford a brick and mortar store. It takes a bit of a following to do an in-person pop-up, and at the very least some resources. And so what have we defaulted to? We have defaulted to email marketing instead. And well, it worked really well in the beginning because the first person that came up with it did fantastic. However, many brand owners come into the industry now that expecting that email marketing is going to be some magic or secret sauce that's going to skyrocket their brand when it's really not. Yes, you'll probably do better with it than without it. However, it's not some magic that's going to make your drops go crazy. And so, how do we retain the joy of the in-person lineup and all the benefits that it has to offer with the customer loyalty, with the conversions, with all of the things, yet bring it to the virtual world? So that's the big question we're going to be answering in this video. Before we get to that, let's look at the current release strategy. Let's break it down in a bit more detail. First, it looks like advertising the pre-release for email list subscribers. You might be primarily active on social media, and that's where most of your sales come from. You say, hey guys, we have this new collection. We are going to be releasing the website password to those that are subscribed to our email list. If you're not on there, you can't get it early. And those people might get it 12 hours earlier or something. And then, of course, later you release it to the public, but there's less units available because, you know, they get the crumbs. You know, the people on the email list get the first dibs. And as mentioned, this works well. It has worked for a long time for many brands. However, there's still some integral issues that it doesn't bring what the in-person lineup has to the virtual world. For example, it's an isolated inbox. When I receive an email from a, marketing email from a brand, I can't interact and see all the other people that might also be interested in buying from this brand as well. And that's the very metric that we use to measure the strength of a community, is how many interconnections there are between the customers. I lose that entirely with email marketing. The other problem is that people don't check their emails. There's just many people that don't. And especially in a younger demographic, when people are usually brought up nowadays on social media for communications more than email, it might get lost in among all of their spam. And even if they do, you happen to be competing with every other company on the planet doing email marketing. For these reasons, email marketing is one of those things that you'd probably be worse without, but isn't going to make your average brand skyrocket, sky high. It's not going to make it go to the moon. However, there is another model that maybe does have the potential to really make some dramatic positive difference in your brand's revenue and in your brand's community. And those two factors are really interconnected in a big way. And the solution comes in the new strategy. And I'm going to be breaking it down for you right now. Here it is. So this is what I like to call the community release strategy. And it's very simple. First, you advertise the pre-release for community members. And so you go onto Instagram and you say, hey, everyone, we're doing a pre-release. If you want to get in early on our latest collection, you have to join the community. Right? Very simple. You have an incentive, people join, and that's what happens. 2, you collect email and SMS upon entering the community. So one of the prerequisites for someone entering your community is that they have to enter their email and SMS. and you simply add them into whatever your software you're currently using for email marketing, or if you're not, there's a number of programs, super easy to find one. And so that's a really powerful tool that it's not foregoing the email marketing strategy. It's just adding to it in a way that makes it stronger and future-proof. Third, you launch your pre-release via the community and on email. And so this is where it gets really powerful. This is the difference between email marketing and the community pre-release. It's that you don't just send an email to an isolated inbox. You send an email saying, hey guys, by the way, website password is releasing only on the community space. And on top of that, you post things to the community saying, hey guys, we're releasing this in 24 hours. The website password is going to be here on the community page and here only. This is the only space where you can get it. I'm going to be talking about the benefit of doing that in a moment. Finally, step 4 is exactly the same. You later launch the public release if you want to. So, some brands, maybe a little side note, maybe you don't have to do the public release. Maybe you only do the community release, but that's up to you. And why does this model work so well? Why do I believe the community pre-release model works much better than a simple email marketing? There's a few reasons. It's number one, high engagement, right? Exactly the problem that is with email marketing you don't have in the community model. It's not like an isolated inbox where I just receive my emails and can't see anyone else who's maybe receiving these emails too. You have the ability to have live calls, a communal chat, and interaction between the members when you post saying, hey guys, we're releasing this in 24 hours. Imagine everyone commenting in at the same time saying, oh man, I'm so excited for this collection. Are you buying? Yes, I'm going to get my hands on these pieces. All of a sudden, an audience really does become a community, and it's not just a list of names and numbers in your email list. It now becomes actual humans that are part of your community and are interconnected, which gives them all the more reason to become super fans for your brand. Let me tell you a story. I was once walking through a shopping center in Melbourne City in Australia, and I saw this line outside the store. It was a line that went really wrapped around one of the aisles in the shopping center. And there was a security guard out front with a barrier that was letting in only a few people at a time. My head turned instantly when I saw this line. I knew nothing about the brand. I'd never seen them before in my life, yet still I was interested. So interested, in fact, that I waited in line. Now, why would I do this for a brand that I have never heard of, not even interested in? Before that day, I wasn't even going to buy any clothes. It's because of the social proof. The line demonstrates to me that other people are willing to work for this product. Therefore, it must be worth working for. They must know something that I don't about the product, and so maybe I'm interested in buying it too. And this is the power of community. It's that you get to demonstrate the hype around your brand in front of the eyes of some of the fence sitters that might be in your community. And so naturally, you're going to have a higher conversion rate. People that were kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to buy or not, that probably wouldn't have bought with just email marketing, now might definitely buy because they engage in the community and interact with others who are buying. All of a sudden, imagine if they get asked, hey, are you buying? Are you waiting for the next collection? And you go, I guess I am. I'm not a fence sitter anymore. I'm in with the club. I'm in with the community. And that's why this works. And so high conversion means more revenue for you, or at least more selling power. That's powerful. The last reason why this community pre-release model works so well is because people have a double incentive for joining. It's not just for the clothing product, but for the community itself. And so you're going to be able to build a community much bigger than you would ever build an email marketing list. It's massive, and I don't even have to speak any more on that point for you to understand its benefits. We've gone over a lot in this lesson, so let's recap it all. There's a reason why in-person lineups work. It's a visual demonstration of hype which drives conversions, and on top of that, it also demonstrates some of the strength of a community. It's the interconnections between individuals. However, we haven't retained these same benefits when moving into the online world. Email marketing doesn't really capture it all. So the solution is pre-release your garments to a community platform. You won't only grow your community around your drop, but also increase the product conversion rate. And plus, it's just fun. It's just fun. Imagine a space where you can talk about the very thing that you are passionate about speaking about and make more money in the process. This method is how you monetize your community and sell clothing to your community in a way that really, really works. And if this is a method you would like to apply in your own brand, here is your action step for today. Begin preparing your posts and emails leading up to your next drop. As a rule of thumb, you'll want to send something out every 72, 48, 24, 3 hours, 1 hour, and at the time of the drop itself. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you found some value in this lesson. If you resonate with any of the teachings that I've shared with you today, and it's something that you are really genuinely passionate about, is building a community around your brand and seeing all the benefits from it, then please go into the description right now of wherever you're consuming this and click on the link. It's going to take you to my online calendar, and this is a free community roadmap. We're going to figure out where you are, where you want to go, and how to get there with the power of community. This is a gift very much free for you, and it's personalized to your brand because, I'm sharing general information and knowledge through this video series. That's all I can do when I'm trying to reach a lot of different clothing brands in a lot of different niches. But let's do it niche for your brand. And by the way, this video is part 4 of 5 in a greater series all about how to turn your audience into a community. In part 5, in the final part, I'm going to be sharing how you can empower your audience to do the tasks that you either don't want to do or want to do more of. So I'm Elijah Delport. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next lesson. Click it. It's on screen right now.